At this time every day, we'll break down the hot topics in the Bay Area, things that our friends and coworkers may be talking about today.
That's right. So we have a special guest, as you see, joining us for the conversation. This is Nate Ballard. He served as Gavin Newsom's communication director when Newsom was mayor of San Francisco, and now he's in the governor's office. Look at him, all grown up.
I know. Good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
We're going to talk about Gavin Newsom in just a second and whether he has political aspirations to go to the White House, perhaps sooner than later. But first, let's talk about Senator Kamala Harris. We're going to watch this.
I stand before you today, clear-eyed about the fight ahead and what has to be done.
Well, she certainly had beautiful weather for her campaign launch in Oakland yesterday. Couldn't have asked for anything better. Shades of Obama, perhaps, in the language and the location. So curious how you think this went for her yesterday.
What a kickoff. I mean, I believe that she had over 20,000 fans there, which is really something. And when you compare that to the other kickoffs or the other presidential campaigns, she's blowing them out of the water so far. She's really looking like the front runner now.
All right, so the spotlight's going to be on her tonight when she does that CNN town hall in Iowa.
Right.
What do you think she needs to accomplish there? I mean, on a national stage, I mean, we know her well in California.
Right.
She's not as well known as Biden, Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, people who might get in still. So what does she need to do to kind of make her mark?
Right. She needs to show that she can connect with voters in Iowa and other places like that in the middle of the country. Because she really is, she's a creature of California. She's fantastic. We all know her and love her here. However, she's an unknown to those voters in Iowa, and she needs to show that she's got personality, that she's relatable, and luckily she's very warm, and she's somebody that people can really warm up to very quickly. And I think that that's what she needs to show tonight in Iowa.
I do want to ask you, we had Willie Brown on here not long ago, and he wrote in the Chronicle in his column over the weekend, he talked about the fact that, yeah, we dated.
Yeah.
He and Kamala dated, and he was kind of like, so what, right?
Right.
Do you think that any of these ghosts will come to haunt her sort of permanently during the campaign, or is this just a bump in the road? You
know what? I think Willie Brown handled it exactly the right way. We all knew that they used to date a long time ago because, you know, they were an item back in the day. And but Willie Brown addressed it immediately at the very beginning here of her campaign, and I think it'll just be smooth sailing from now on. It can't really come up again. Not an issue at this point. Right.
All right. Given Kamala's background, African-American, Indian, let's not forget, that's forgotten in a lot of conversations about her politically. Also the fact that she was a prosecutor, but still with a progressive reputation, where does that leave her in terms of who she could appeal to?
Right. I think that, first of all, she's a sensation in progressive circles. She's already at the top of the straw poll in the Daily Kos straw poll. And so that shows that progressive primary voters are already really enthusiastic about her. But then if she should survive if she should survive the primaries and get to the general, then her background as a prosecutor is really going to help her win over those independent voters who really will appreciate somebody who cares about law and order.
All right, let's talk about Gavin Newsom, right? Okay, your former boss.
Yes.
So he was asked recently if he's going to be throwing his hat into the race for president because some ads have been showing up on Facebook in some of these states where you might put ads if you wanted to run for president, right? And he said, God, no. He had a pretty strong reaction to that. All right, so, I mean, that seems pretty clear for 2020. But do you think that he could possibly be, I don't know, running with Kamala or perhaps be vying for a position in a cabinet?
Playing the long game, maybe?
Yeah. Here's what I think. I think Gavin Newsom would make a great president. But the timing right now is not just right. When Jerry Brown was governor, he almost immediately started running. When he first got elected governor a long time ago, he started running for president almost immediately, and California voters didn't like that. They wanted him to stay in Sacramento and do his job. And we just elected Gavin Newsom governor, so we need to give him a chance to do his job and do great things here in California. And when you're governor of California, you get to be the leading voice of the resistance against President Trump. And so it's a great position for him to be in, and I think he's just focused on doing that job right now.
So when would be the right time? Because if Kamala Harris gets into office, a Democrat is elected into office, then presumably they'll be running again 4 years later. When does Gavin get into this?
I think it's too early to speculate because 2020 is actually a long time away. I mean, we haven't even seen all the other candidates who might get in the race. Like Joe Biden might get in the race and really shake everything up. So it's really too early to speculate about whether Gavin would make a great running mate for so-and-so. Right now, it's just it's a wide open field, and the presidential candidates have to duke it out until the nomination.
So Warren has said she's in. Biden, Sanders, we're still waiting on.
Right.
Very interesting. Hillary Clinton just this weekend said, maybe not closing the door.
Right.
And you heard Starbucks former CEO Howard Schultz saying,
Right.
I could be running as an independent centrist. So my question is, who do you think should get in and who should get out based on who is more likely to defeat President Trump? A progressive, a centrist? What do you think?
I think Howard Schultz has made a mistake by saying that he's going to run as an independent. He's a lifelong Democrat, and he's really got an interesting bio, but the smart move for him would be to run as a moderate in the Democratic primary and let that all shake out. Because if he runs as a third-party candidate, all he's going to do is ensure that President Trump ends up in the White House again. So I think that's problematic.
He's getting some horrible pushback today, and I don't know if he anticipated that or not, but he's getting it whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. You know, right now, the most vocal critics of President Trump on a national stage have sort of become Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, and also House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. What does that say about the Bay Area and the dynamic that is set up against the White House right now?
Right. I think it's really interesting that the three leading critics of President Trump all come from the San Francisco Bay Area. I think it's because we have an intensely competitive political scene here. It's all Democrats, and so we're all used to fighting amongst ourselves, but then we get really good, strong skills that we take out there to the world. And so now we have Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, and Kamala Harris leading the way against Trump out there for the rest of the country.